Welcome to the High Octane Sim Series Season 3. Quick shout out to this amazing league sponsors of Captain Jack's Smokehouse, W Energy Drinks, and Admin Box. This is 10-4 Broadcast and sponsored by Admin Box as well, bringing you another great night of racing. I'm your host, Patrick Morrison, and joining me tonight is Kynan Jones, who we'll get to in just a minute. Tonight will be the preseason race at the LA Coliseum Raceway, a quarter-mile track that is sure to bring side-by-side racing, aggressive passing, and begin new rivalries. Tonight will go a little different than what you would normally see from the High Octane Sim Series. There will be 4 40-lap heats to start off. The top 4 from each heat will move on to the feature. Have no fear, these laps will take about 40 seconds to complete, so we don't want to miss anything. From there, we'll have 16 drivers duke it out at the 100-lap feature race. Keep in mind there will be stages at 50 and 100. Tires are unlimited here tonight. So now we know about the track and the race itself. Let's get to the drivers. The winner or the last survivor will be awarded 10 bonus points to start the season. For some, this is a great boost to get ahead in the standings. Unfortunately, drivers like Ben Mashburn, Chris Darling, who won the Michigan race, and the Season 2 winner Matthew Batby will not be attending tonight. Nevertheless, this will be great for some of the new drivers like Edward Marshall, a warm-up for others like Jeremy Richmond, Riley Hoots, and Alan Bledsoe. So, Kynan, you've taken a few laps around the track earlier. With the track temp around about 73 degrees, how do you feel, and what are the drivers experiencing, including yourself?
One big thing that I was figuring out as I got some practice laps under my belt was the car did not want to get stopped for turn-in, so expect there to be some people that may overdrive, give some bumper, so we could expect some sort of retaliation later on.
Yeah, and we did take a quick little look there as he just popped in the screen of Edward Marshall actually spinning out on that qualifying lap, so that's gonna hurt and have to go to that backup car. But the backup cars tonight, or the cars themselves in general, is the next gen car. How are those cars treating these drivers tonight? And what are you feeling out there? I mean, now with the new setup they came out with about a week ago.
Right now, feeling almost a bit more understeer than I would have expected, especially with how much downforce these things should have, but it could just be I hadn't driven the track with the old setup, but with what it has right now, I found that in the mid-corner there was a bit of pull-out with the right front, trying to take it towards the wall.
Yeah, and that is kind of difficult. I know these next-gen cars, they did saw off a good bunch of the rear trunk there, so the downforce is critical. Being able to really plant here. This only being a quarter-mile track, I know it's kind of weird seeing such large cars on a small track. You try to aim for about that half-mile track to get these guys going, and really it's going to be a nightmare, I think, for some of these drivers out there trying to not smash into each other. And I just don't know how they're going to hold here tonight, kind of.
Yeah, it's going to be a real test, but these drivers should know what they're doing. So even though it's not the biggest field, it's a tight track, so either way, we're going to expect some good racing tonight.
Yeah, and really, what a blast I'm hoping this is going to be. Looks like Edward Marshall, Brandon Fetterplace, Riley Hoots should be in your top 3 so far. We're going to wait and kind of see when these guys start kind of piling in here and lining up, and then we'll give you a final countdown before they get going. So I believe these 40 laps, when they're under 15 seconds, I mean, these things should blow by pretty quick. But I just don't know with the traction you can get out of these vehicles. But like you're saying, between the understeer, the lack of downforce, the new tire compounds, the new damage model that iRacing has brought out for these next gens, I mean, to me, this almost seems like a nightmare to just starting.
Well, speaking of starting, if you look to the top left hand of the screen, you see the Geico restart zone. That's also going to definitely play a factor in tonight if these drivers are not familiar with how it works.
Yeah, and really, it's tripped up a lot of drivers you and I have been seeing the past couple of weeks, just not being able to really kind of place and put the power down. As you see, either guys are spinning or things like that. Fortunately for the first start, that it will be off the flagman, but after that, it's going to be that Geico restart zone, as you see right there, the pace car and the top guys getting through there. So this is going to be kind of like I said, this is going to be a nightmare. This place is mostly used for, the Olympics. I believe they're holding them here in 2028. Basketball games are held here. Just all sorts of things. And the LA Coliseum just being able to hold, 3 of the Olympic games here, and now we're going to try to put cars on them. So it's such a small area, to try to make this work, and I'm excited to see what they can do, because I just don't know if they're going to be able to hold it as we're about to go under green flag. And there they go, starting lap 1. Oh, man, as you see, Jeremy Richmond immediately turned around. So right there, just as we were saying, this may be a handful, as he doesn't make it but, 20, 25 feet there, and spins that car around.
There was a bit of damage to the front of the car, but luckily, with it being small straightaways, the top speed shouldn't be as important, but it's definitely going to hamper their attitude with things, and it may also be a wake-up call for the other drivers to realize, just take it a little bit easy. We aren't even in the feature, and that's going to put him behind where he wants to be already.
Yeah, especially with that damage. I mean, man, and I don't think aerodynamics will be that crazy, but man, you see that right there as we're at that 10-4 replay. It just looks like he hit the paint on the, on the restart line, on the start-finish line, and it just started spinning the rear of the car. So you got to be very, very careful so far. I mean, right now, you and I both know those tires are cold. The track's only 72 degrees out here, and this is going to be, you've got to maintain. You got to be patient. I just don't. I think your passing will be limited here, but I don't think it's out of sorts. It can still be done. But man, it's I've never seen trying to stick next gen cars on a quarter-mile track, and really, I think the High Octane Sim Series is trying to trip everybody up, get everybody, out of their comfort zone. Let's get out of those 2.5-mile-an-hour speedways. Let's get out of those, mile and a half, normal like Kansas and things like that, and now we're to like a super small short track. So really just trying to hold these things together and make this happen. I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be to the lone survivor at the end of this one, because there's no way, there's no way I think there will be a single car out here without a scratch on it.
Oh, for sure, but if you can survive and have that track position, you're going to be better off in the end as we go back to green flag.
Yeah, right under that great restart right there. So you see a lot more conservative there the 24 car of Riley Hoots. So getting pushed around. But boy, you see him bumping and banging back here about in the 3rd or 4th position. And really having some trouble there. It looks like somebody might have just gotten spun around there again. Not sure who had the damage.
Contact between the 32 and the 4.
32 and the 4? All right, so let's see if we can roll that back and take a quick peek at what in the heck happened there. 32
Looks
and the
like
4.
The 32 just got a bit loose on the outside, came down as the 4 was coming up slightly, and just hooked the 4's rear right.
Here we go. All right, so we're drumming up that 10-4 replay. Here we go with 32 there on the outside. Great start, and you see he kind of tries to hook it there. 4 on the apron, and boy, something kind of happened there. That was kind of weird how they kind of did that there. Let me see if I can get us a chopper view here. It's going to be a little difficult tonight because the track is so small. So this is going to give us a real challenge tonight, trying to get great angles. But a lot of them are going to be really awesome, like this one right here. I mean, so this should give us everything we need to see. Of the 4 car of Edward Marshall kind of getting toward the inside, but man, right there. Yeah, it looks like the 32 of Robert Ballard kind of got into him. But boy, did you see Jeremy Richmond snake through that hole right there at the end.
To back up Ballard just a little bit, there was a small bit of netcode that did assist in collecting the 4. So it wasn't completely the 32's fault, but he did get that bit loose on the outside and did come down, but there was some netcode.
Yeah, and I did see it kind of jerked there real bad. Trying to get it back, getting it back straight. I noticed like he came toward the wall and then all of a sudden it jerked. But, you gotta love iRacing and be able to get it going as the 32 goes in and bumps the 50 there. I think he might be getting a little antsy. I mean, man, we're here on only about lap 2, and it's just, you see the struggle already is just getting these cars to hook and do what they're supposed to, that you want them to do. As we're getting ready to go back under green flag, looks like Riley Hoots going ahead and taking another lead lap, and hopefully these guys can calm down and get this thing back squared away. It looks like Bledsoe's going ahead and staying out there, might go ahead and try to shoot to the inside of the 20 car of Brandon Fetterplace. Man, right there. Oh, he just caught it. Another caution. So have no fear, everyone. This is the preseason. This isn't the normal season. So everybody's starting to learn each other's driving habits here. As you see, Alan Bledsoe kind of turned around Fetterplace there, and really kind of a bummer for him is that just just unfortunate. You know, he got wrong place, wrong time, and then I think these guys are just getting a little antsy and turning each other around. But man, only heat 1, we're lap 4 out of 40. So I mean, kind of this. I told everybody this would be a fast race, but this one seems to be a little longer than we thought. I thought we'd be halfway by now.
Yeah, but even though it's a small track and small field, still gonna have big tempers. So it may be difficult at first, but as the drivers start to feel what the car's going to do and find their rhythm, we should be able to get through these laps fairly quickly.
Now, when you were out here practicing, is this some of the same thing you were kind of seeing? I was watching Jeremy Richmond in practice, and he was having a hard time with actually pit entry or turn entry. He'd get going and he'd lock up that left front tire trying to get this thing to turn. I mean, is this a lot of what some of the trouble you were having?
That's exactly what I was feeling, just trying to get the front of the car to bite into the ground and get into the turn. But then when you get to the mid-corner, I felt that it was trying to wash out more. But then if you're too antsy on the throttle, then you'll get super loose on exit. So it's a real handful throughout the entire lap. And you've got to do that over and over again, and there's no time to rest.
Okay, so for some of our viewers out there, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but washout. Explain washout to me.
So what washout is as you go into the turn, the front of the car will then try to push and just try to take you out of your ideal racing line. So basically, say you're on a train track and you go into a turn. If you take it too quickly, the train isn't going to be able to cope and stay on track, so it's going to push out and go track. So that's kind of what washout is.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Well, that's good to know. So that way we all understand. But who's understanding right now is Riley Hoots. He definitely knows how to get this restart down as he gets a great jump there once again back toward the front. But here we go with the 50 car of Ian Janik. Working his way onto the inside, but putting that 42 of Alan Bledsoe toward the outside. You do see these guys kind of calming down a little bit, but who's not calming down is actually Jeremy Richmond. He's working his way up front. Now, I've seen him in the NSRA. It was actually, oh boy, as he gets turned around. Hold on. Man, did you see that?
Still going on.
Yeah, these guys are just a brawl. I think
92 and the 32 decided to drag along each other until they got to the corner.
Yeah, maybe
So
I'm taking a quick
straight further on.
Yeah, taking a quick peek here at the 92. We're going to head to the replay here and see what exactly... Yeah, you see that left front tire locked up, so that's exactly what we were just talking about. Is 92 getting locked up, and man, just not able to keep it under control, and it's just that's what you're seeing here. I mean, other than everybody not pulling out of third gear or so, what would be the strategy here at this point to really just let's start ticking the laps off? I mean, all I can figure is maybe single file restarts, and then maybe be able to get these guys to separate a little bit, because Riley Hoots, he's got it. He pulls away, he gets a great jump, and you see he's out of trouble, but he is in the lead. Alan Bledsoe, you see he was able to get around, but he got out of trouble, and these guys are just kind of banging and beating each other all up and everything.
Yeah, that's for certain. Jeremy Richmond started on that front row. He was in a good position to just stay out of the trouble, but has ended up, just because of that mistake on the race start, getting involved in more incidents that he would want, and that has put him in the back. But once the drivers just take it easy, then we're going to start ticking the laps off. Well, yeah. We may only be on lap 6 or 7 now, but once the drivers start to feel it out again, we should start to tick them off, hopefully.
Yeah, and so far, the 4 and that 98 have a lot of damage. A lot of damage to the front of their cars, so I don't think, with this being a short track, you don't have a whole lot of airflow, so I don't know if any overheating problems may come to light afterwards. But if we keep these cautions up, I don't think there ain't be worried about any overheating. But right now, Riley Hoots back under green flag. Let's try this again as we get going around here toward the outside. 92 got in the back of Jeremy Richmond there, going ahead and taking his time, working on the outside there of the 20 car of Brandon Fetterplace there. Oh, is the 42. Looks like Bledsoe gets turned around. Man. Should we go back to the replay on that one?
I mean, if we keep going, if it's under green still, which no safety car is out again. It was just a case of Bledsoe just coming down ever so slightly as the 50 wasn't as low as the 42 probably expected, and they just came together.
Yeah, yeah, but this would be a good idea to maybe throw out some of our sponsors there. A sponsor also who is with us and HOSS is Admin Box. Great tool to have, actually. Like exactly what it says, Admin Box. Is if you're a league owner or things like that, being able to have a USB plug-and-play button box next to you to be able to throw these cautions out, the black flags, things like that, and be able to have that right there at your fingertips instead of kind of scrolling around on your keyboard trying to make something happen. One of Hoss's another sponsors is the W Energy drink. So they got, I know some of these guys, they've talked about, drinking some of this before a game, and really, they like it doesn't have that jump in the crash the same way Red Bull does. So go check them out, and man, I hope you've ate dinner tonight, because they got Captain Jack's Smokehouse. So here's a picture of that barbecue right there, and man, I can't look at it too long because it makes me too hungry. You see a rack of ribs there and things like that. So Captain Jack's Smokehouse, visit them on Facebook and check them out. But man, really, it's just starting to become just a headache at this point. These guys are kind of going around trying to figure out how to get this thing going. But I know I've had some trouble in the next-gen cars, just traction problems. I just can't get the front end of the car to go where I want it to go. So it does require a lot of braking. I mean, I know if you move the brake bias toward the front, I don't know if that would help, seeing that you're already having problems with lockup issues. What in the world is the 32 doing there?
With how under caution works is you don't have a live spotter at the time, so I'd say the 32 didn't realize that the 98 was on his outside at the time, so they just end up coming together.
Man. Well, we're back under green, and I mean, at this point, these guys are pretty spread out this time, so I think they're just going to, as long as everybody can keep traction at this point, it should have good rolling here.
Hopefully, we should start to tick these momentums off, as I was just watching the replay back, and
no,
had just self-spun on that restart.
Yep. Dang. Unfortunately for iRacing, the pace car is able to pass through your car. But man,
50 is not in a good spot right now.
Now he may be trying to get that thing fired back up. You do see he's kind of having some trouble getting it back going. I don't know if maybe a mechanical issue there or something. I don't see any. There we go. Might be moving. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, he may have had trouble getting that engine fired up. I don't know if something happened there. It's you do see that out of some drivers when they get sliding out of control. They tend to leave, stay out of the clutch, and when you come to a stop, it goes and pops the engine, and then it stays stopped. But really, I just I mean, we're getting to a quarter of the way through Heat 1 here, so this is going to be really a handful here. I mean, the only person I see who hasn't gotten touched by anything is Riley Hoots up here up in the front. I mean, I'm kind of digging that 24 Dr. Pepper car, and I believe it's Isaac Emerson there in the 92 of that Valvoline car. That's looking pretty slick. So, but yeah, really, what I'm trying to think of different ways. I mean, just it's such a traction issue here at the track. Being able to get this thing to hook and really be able to plant and aim where you want. And I thought that at a track like this, you would want to be as close to that wall so you can hit that apex of the turn, maybe half a car length up off that white line. And you're not seeing that so far. Everybody's kind of riding that white line around the turns, and I think it's getting too slick there on the bottom. And you have too much speed if you're actually too high.
It's a real mix of bags on where do you put your car. You put it outside, someone's probably going to put it up the inside, but it may be a little bit better traction up there. But if you keep it down low, your car is going to feel as well loose down there. So it's a mess. The car doesn't really like being here, but it's a good test for the driver's skill.
Yeah, and really that's really what we're looking for, and the High Octane Sim Series is that driver skill. Yes, being able to draft, bump, draft, kind of aim, and do it on a speedway is one thing, but you actually have to maneuver. You got to time things and get this thing under control. But under control right now, Riley Hoots once again taking that green flag. Hopefully we can get this. As boy, big brake check right there. As you see, he's taking that apron there. So boys, they're already bumping and banging there right behind that 92 car. Oh boy. There we go. Yeah, just what we expect. You know, you kind of see these guys kind of scrubbing and moving around. There's Jeremy Richmond working on the way of the 92. So he's moved his way back up in the 4th after that spin out last time. But will the 92 give it to him again? Oh, man. Yeah, there's the 42 there of Bledsoe. Man, what an issue here. He's kind of trying to get this thing under control. As the 92 slides out of control and kind of pops himself. You can see by him driving there, he's not real happy about that one. So, let's see. We got any damage on that car? Yeah, it looks like he might have just bit that inside wall a little bit. Dang.
Luckily, it doesn't seem like damage makes too much of a difference, as even with the 98, with his decent amount of front-end damage, he's managed to claw his way up to 4th.
Yeah, Jeremy Richmond, man, he's doing a heck of a job. He's been spun out. I mean, he spun out on the first lap. I mean, we didn't get to the first turn. He spun out, unfortunately. The 92 got into the back of the 98, you know, and spun him around. And you've kind of seen him bumping and banging his way back up here. And here you're still, you know, up in the 4th position. I don't think there isn't any person out here at this point that can not win. You know, kind of like Talladega. If you got 35 drivers, you got 35 winners. You know, seeing how these guys are bumping and banging and really kind of trying to keep it close and tight. But, you know, with these cautions, it's not really allowing anybody to get any kind of separation. You kind of want them to, you know, get some separation, be able to get the laps under, but I think some of these guys are getting a little overzealous in the turns, and it's loosening the car up. And this track and the cars just can't handle it. Can you think of a situation, kind of, where maybe that the car can start hooking? I mean, would I keep driving until maybe the tires start warming up and then it starts doing what I want it to?
It's hard to really say, and unless the drivers have done a long run, they're not going to have a good feel as to what the car will do on the long run. At some tracks it'll loosen up, some tracks it'll tighten up, so it's hard to really say, but it's all good to do a long run in practice, but that doesn't factor in if you're doing a short run, because we keep getting cautions over and over again.
Yeah, really, what a battle this is starting to become. Just trying to get this thing around here.
But someone who is able to handle the track and car combo is the 24, our leader, Riley Hoots. Just being able to keep the car under control whilst everyone behind him having all the issues. So he's probably enjoying seeing a nice clear track in front of him and looking in the mirror and just seeing carnage behind.
Yeah, but you got to know he's hanging his head after every caution. You start getting a good run, you get a good restart, and then, man, you're back under caution again. 2 more laps around, and then we're back under green. So here we go again, back under green. Lap 14, we're starting here. So really, Riley Hoots being able to kind of hold this out front and kind of doing what he wants to do. Really making the things happen. As you see Jeremy Richmond kind of doing the same thing as we just moved to him. So he was working his way on that outside, maybe trying that line I was suggesting, you know, from the outside to the inside. But this is just starting to kind of become a demolition derby at this point. You know, these guys are really, you know, I thought trading paint is one thing, but they're starting to trade, you know, car parts. You know, they're getting into each other, folding each other up, and really, I mean, we haven't really gotten any laps to really, you know, press these tires and see what they are or are not capable of. I mean, we're you know, out there, what do we call it? We call it eye pacing. That's what we call it. This seems to be what we got going on. But it looks like out in the chat, Team Steel 87. It looks like from James Brosecker. I was gonna say, please forgive me. I hope I said that right. The driver of the number 3. I'm so glad that the KPM number 3 Good Wrench team decided not to run the HOSS Clash and save our stuff for Daytona next week. And that brings up another great idea. Saying that right there is actually seeing if I can find the schedule here for HOSS. Right here. Right there. And we'll be able to go ahead and you'll see kind of how they're at the LA Coliseum Clash here. And then the regular season starts. So July 1st will be the Daytona Race, 130 laps. So, I mean, that is going to be a big race for these guys. You know, and what you see here, the 42, 84, and the 130, those will kind of be your stage breaks of when things, you know, come about. So, really, I mean, you see some of these races. I mean, Martinsville, we're going to have another short track. We're going to have Richmond, another short track. But we also have Talladega. We've got Dover, and we have Texas. So a lot of this it is going to be a handful, but don't look away from things like the Charlotte Roval. I mean, these guys are really going to be pushing, a road track at this point. These guys should be well seasoned and kind of feeling each other out at that point and being able to, see what they can do later on. But, it's going to be interesting. I did kind of peek into the chat a little bit, and some of them were thinking about, some of them are kind of thinking about trying to toss a Watkins Glen in there, maybe. I know, I raced at a Knock Hill one time, and that was a nightmare for me. I'm more of a Watkins Glen guy myself, a lot easier. But seeing them running the next gens here, this could be a lot more of a headache than most would seem. As Riley Hoots and Brandon Fetter place up here, first, second, go ahead and taking it off again. So, man, you just see that corner entry. He's so slow. Let the car get the traction, go ahead and take off. It's a really great driving here as the number 4 goes in and takes a really aggressive move there, diving toward the inside. If you're that 20 car, really, what are you thinking? Do you stay out of his way, or do you pinch him down toward the bottom? Boy, he's right there. Yeah, you see Edward Marshall, it kind of pays for it, and we've seen Edward Marshall before. If you've tuned into 10-4 broadcasting with us, he runs a lot of open-wheel races, and I think he runs with you in the VRA League, does he not?
That is true. He does race with me. I've raced and traded a bit of bar paint with him, so we've got a bit of history, but he's probably not having as much fun with this, as there's not nearly as much grip as he's probably used to.
Yeah, and really, you are taking the car and doubling the weight of it now, and you're really trying to figure out how to sling the weight of the car and make things happen. As you can see, it looks like he gets some damage repair there, and he might be opting for some tires, but I don't know if this may or may not put him a lap down. We'll have to kind of keep an eye on that and see if he gets around. But really, this is going to be a brawl. I think these guys are just kind of getting a good feel out for what they're doing here, but it's starting to hurt a little bit. We're almost to the halfway point of the first heat, and really, it's the key to this game at this point is just keep the traction, stop bumping each other, and really make this thing get around the track. These next-gen cars, I believe, are capable of doing it, but you just see it's just starting to become a real hassle here, trying to get this thing squared away.
And just keeping patience, but something that isn't going to be helping with the patience and the overall race, there's just 5 minutes left of this race before we go time certain.
Really?
So, thought it was getting chaotic now, or earlier, it's just going to get a whole lot more.
Boy, that's really going to break somebody's heart there. So that'll be the end of the heat just by time. So we're not even going to make it to our 40 laps.
Might not even make it to 20 laps.
Yeah, as we'll see, it doesn't look to me like much of these laps are ticking off here, even under caution. So,
by the looks of things,
yeah.
We are not counting caution laps.
Right, and boy, that would be helpful at this point. Just kind of get these guys out of the car, put their head in the freezer, cool down a little while, and then come back out here and try again. Because, this is starting to get pretty difficult for some of these. Riley Hoots is loving this because he's just out front and doing his thing. As it goes in and takes off, another great start. Man, and you just see no wheel spin out of him on these takeoffs. So really great job there. So we're going to kind of rotate back here to Bledsoe. See the 92 kind of way back there in the background, taking that move. But, man, Jeremy Richmond, look at that. Taking that aggressive move to the inside. And kind of been seeing this out of some of the drivers. Is the more aggressive you are, the harder it's going to start getting.
And something that Bledsoe is going to be remembering is when he accidentally got into Richmond earlier in this race and spun him around. So payback may be coming for him.
Oh, that is possible. He could nudge him and send him around. We all know the right thing to do. Boys, you see him lock him up right there, sliding into that turn. Wow, Jeremy Richmond is really, really on it this time, as we are coming up, I believe, on our record so far of, I think, about 3 or 4 straight green flag laps. So I'm liking what we got going on here. As I spoke too soon, it looks like somebody got turned around, looked like the 92 of Isaac Emerson. Man, we just got it going, man. I thought we had it.
That's not what certain drivers in this race would have wanted, but at least we're only 3 minutes left, so then that will give the drivers a bit of time just to refresh themselves. And
Yeah,
then
no
we
fear.
go.
Yeah, we're going to take a little peek here of the 10-4 broadcast and replay. That 92 car, we're getting that Michelin chopper view, and let's see if we can figure out what's going on here. Oh, boy, yeah, he might have just overcorrected a little bit. He thought that wall was going to come up and kind of bite him there. Oof. It looks like the 32 of Ballard gets into him as well. Turns him around. Dang.
This
Yeah,
looked like the 92 had just released the brakes or just put into reverse at the wrong time, right as the 32 was coming up behind, and just barely gets collected.
yeah, but this is where it's a good time to, when you have a spotter or something like that, hey, check up, hold the brakes, lock them down, and then just kind of wait until everything kind of clears up and get back under. But I believe, the only two cars so far that have come down pit road was Edward Marshall on lap 16 and Robert Ballard, I believe it's Robert Ballard Jr. It came down on lap 9, but Robert's actually down by a lap, unfortunately. I think he probably had a whole lot of damage there. But really, I mean, got some more damage off clipping the back end of Isaac there. But man, really a bummer, as he might have the lucky dog.
Luckily, we've seen that these next-gen cars are a lot tougher, and especially after the most recent update. Even with the new damage model, they're still a lot more tough than the old Gen 6 cars, so... And with it being a very, very short track, damage shouldn't be too much of a factor unless you have damaged steering.
Yeah, I mean, that isn't hard to get here. I mean, one straight groove there, clipping the outside wall can fold that right side in and really ruin your race there, as I believe Riley hoots. So why not, since the pace car is out, we're going to actually take a ride along with him here in a little bit and see what in the world, what's the secret to his restarts here. As you kind of see, man, can't really see a whole lot, not much track.
40 seconds left in this stage, so looks like this will be the final restart, so Hoots just needs to try clear the field.
Might have to fly out there. Look like Jeremy Richmond just checking in his mirror there. May have been sending it to the inside there and getting ready to give him a little more paint to take home with him. But man, really kind of giving a quick push there.
When he had to open the steering just to not be spun by the 98.
As a caution is back out, I do not believe a car is turned around.
The 50 was.
Was he? Who knew?
He looked loose mid-corner, so it started happening fairly early on.
Yeah, I'll see if I can see where... Oh, boy. Okay, let me see if we can get this right here. Alright, let's see if we can go to our 10-4 caution replay. We seem to be visiting here a lot. Alright, so right there you see the 42 on the outside and the 50 on the inside. And we're going to kind of slow-mo it here as it looks like the 42 actually loosens up right there and you see him kind of spin. Overcorrects. Oh, clips him. 42 stays out of the wall, but it turns the 50 around. So, yeah, I'm not sure who caused the caution, 42 or the 50. I'd probably say the 42 just because of how out of shape he was. But, man, what...
Actually,
yeah, you kind of see these guys just absolutely bumping and banging trying to keep this thing around. But I believe it was even after that he even had another problem. Let's try to see if we can fast forward ahead here and take a look at the 50 car as he comes around this turn, and there's our caution. Okay, so that's what happened. And so the 50 wasn't just in one incident. He ended up in another. So, I mean... Man, I don't think incidents are a problem here. But, at this point, these guys got to be racking them up.
Luckily, we're at fairly low speed, so the incident rating may be high, but at least the damage number isn't too high.
Yeah, and you're going to see really here. I mean, from my timer here, I'm not sure which one you've got. I've got 33 seconds, and I think it'll be the end of the stage. So they may or may not here... call it quits here at the end. Looks like the pace car lights laps are off. Man, really, what a bummer here for some of these drivers. Just not being able to really, put down what they brought here tonight. these guys, just I understand being able to want to push hard and really make things happen here, but this is just an issue. Is one of our people out there, Stella says this is looks like go-karts crossed with bumper cars. So it is. As you see, Jeremy Richmond going ahead and diving that thing on in. Heat. We have 2 laps to go as we get to the end of this heat here. So Jeremy Richmond may be trying to make a name for himself, diving that thing toward the inside, holding it in there pretty well. Man, as I get ready to squeeze one more time. Oh boy, first time we've seen Riley Hoots get a little loose there as we're kind of watching him. And that'll be that'll be the end of the stage. Wow, what do you take away from that first stage, bud?
Track position. Track position is going to be very, very crucial for this feature.
Yeah, and really, what a lot to take in. It's interesting to figure out how to get these cars under control. I know we got a bunch of here we go. Yeah, looking back at the chat, Steam Steel, high octane tempers maybe. So this is, have no fear, everybody. High octane. These guys do race a lot. The finale last about 3 weeks ago. Man, that was something to see. When you have Ben Mashburn out there, Matthew Batby out front, won a lot of races last year, and these guys are really able to put it down. But I don't think that any of these drivers have come out here and laid down some laps at a track this small and unpredictable. I mean, right there you kind of see where our scenic view is, how small this track is. I mean, it's so different. It's difficult to make this thing happen. I mean, I'm not sure how to get these cars to hook up, stay connected, and get around because, man, it's Isaac Emerson. He's out there too, and he's saying this is fun, but man, it's you just got to figure out how to calm these guys down a little bit. I mean, I know everybody's excited. I think had about a 3-week hiatus. Some of them got together and practiced with each other, but really, here you're seeing just it's starting to. I think old rivalries will start coming up, and new ones are being forged. I mean, this is absolutely tough, difficult. Jeremy Richmond out here, dang man, tough. I mean, so he knows, and we've seen where he's getting around, and these guys are locking up these front tires. And, I would almost think that moving maybe your brake bias to the rear, maybe try to let that front end loosen up a little bit. That way you can get it turned. But you're already saying we're having an understeer problem, so it's almost you need to brake and then let off the brakes and then turn. You can't brake and turn at the same time. Your tires only have so much grip. So, I mean, man, this is really a handful for these guys on the track. You wouldn't think, you see these guys at 200 miles an hour at Talladega, and we're getting, just under 100 miles an hour at a quarter-mile track, and they're kind of getting their butt whooped here.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what these things would drive like at a track like Bowman Gray Stadium, which is a good comparison, but this is a completely different track to what these drivers are probably used to driving.
Yeah, but I mean, man, you almost think, taking it to like a South Boston or something more of that mixing bowl style with a heck of a lot more banking. And I think that's what these guys may be expecting, is just that banking, and it's just not there. It's so flat, trying to get around these turns, and just such a heavy car, so much turning, and no banking to assist you. So, I mean, these Goodyear tires are taking a beating, and you see, we can't even really get them heat cycled enough to get these things to start, tacking up and sticking. But, I just I just don't know at this point what these guys can do. I mean, this is a lot of heartache and a lot of driving to try to get those 10 bonus points really to start out the season. You got to be excited about that. That'll be a good wind up to get in there. But man, I mean, the cost of the cost of doing business at this point is starting to get these tempers flaring up pretty good.
As a driver, you don't forget things. You'll remember if someone dumps you, and you will remember it throughout the entire season. So you don't want to be making enemies this early on.
Yeah, well, it seems like that war of attrition out here. Being able to stick around, make things happen, but it's not. I don't think this is going to come easy tonight. Even when the cars start separating out, these guys just had problems tacking up and staying stuck there, and getting their way around. So we're going to try to see if we can take a peek here at Jeremy Richmond, see how he's doing there. See if he's trying to change his lineup a little bit. And of course, everybody always does better when you're out there by yourself. But man, you get door to door with somebody else, it's just more and more of a headache. But we'll take, if you take a close look there, at his car, you see those rotors are getting glowing red, so he's on them hard. But it's just trying to figure out how to get this thing turning, as you see it lock up there again. So really pushing it to the max. But the key is when your tires lock up, you have no steering. You can't turn the car anymore. These cars aren't built with ABS, where they're going to let go and re-engage here, kind of. And it's just, oh, boy. Yeah, and still, he's having some trouble there. But, he did get probably 4 or 5 laps in there and started feeling pretty good. And then you see the car walk around. So, the end of the warm-up should be just about wrapping up here. And we will see if we are moving to the second heat or if they're going to go ahead and push this straight to the feature.
Going straight to the feature.
All
100
right.
laps. Or a 1 hour time limit. Hopefully the drivers will know it's a longer race, so hopefully they will dial it down, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah, and really, what a difficult deal it is here trying to get these guys through. And, really, it's trying to figure out where these guys can be and where they need to place their car. But before we get under green flag, somebody in the chat has recommended us bringing him in here, and we're going to go ahead and bring Jeremy Richmond in here. We've kind of taken a peek at you and seeing how it's going. I mean, Jeremy, what different strategy are you thinking about taking to get around this track?
I don't know if I've learned anything really. You got to get on the brake, but then you got to stay on the brake, but you got to let off the brake. So you still got to have brake pressure going into the corner. So I've been trying to work on that during the heat. I think I've made my way back and forth like 30 times during that heat. So we'll see.
Yeah, it just seems that left front tire keeps locking up. I mean, we were looking at the rotors turning red and everything else trying to get into these turns. I mean, some of the some of the spin outs I wouldn't say are your fault, but some, it looked like the 92 got into the back of you, and then sometimes you would turn and the car just kind of slide out from under you. I mean, are you fighting a real bad understeer problem out there?
No, this is my first ever laps on this track, so it's going to be a struggle. But at short tracks, I normally back the corners up, and I think we're just trying to learn the track, really. None of us are upset at anybody. We're all just trying to learn.
Yeah, and it'll take a little bit, but I think you guys have 100 laps coming up here. We struggled to get through 20, and I hope you're able to kind of stay out there on top and everybody calm down.
Yeah, I hope that the caution laps actually count on this one. That'll be great.
Yeah, that'll work out. But pace car lights are off. You're about to go under green, so we will let you go. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, and there's Jeremy Richmond. So really, he's got his hand, his work cut out for him. He's not quite sure what to do. And like he said, it's hard to learn anything. To me, it's hard to learn anything when you're under caution. Other than follow the leader. But it's really not what you want here, Kynan. Is get these guys under green flag, get this thing under control, and really start putting some laps down here. It looks like Bledsoe is working his way back here in the 5th position. So notice, so far so good. These guys, some of these guys, Emerson got a little loose there. But these guys seem to be kind of taking it a little easy. Oop, as I just say something, looks like Edward Marshall might have gotten a little loose there.
Luckily was able to keep it out of the wall for the most part.
And the 92's around. No caution yet. I wonder if they're going to call it a single car accident and just keep it going. I think for some of the viewers out there, boy, keep it going, at this point. But really, for Isaac Emerson, this is going to really stink because now you're looking at the leader right behind you. So that's the key of these, 14-second laps is these. I mean, you can't mess up. One mess up and you're turned around. So really, this is starting to heat up a little bit, which is good. I mean, do you see Jeremy Richmond here? He's definitely getting a line, but notice how conservative these guys are getting. We're not spinning out that much. I mean, we had one little incident there, but we're not under caution. And these guys are just kind of aiming, picking, choosing their lines and really kind of making it around here. Is Riley Hoots doing a great job there, kind of. If you look, he's kind of working that brake big time early and then sling his way around.
Richmond got a little bit too hot into turn 3 and 4 just then and did tag the wall slightly. Lost some time, but is going to be able to hold track position crucially.
Yeah, it looks like Ian
He's
Janik
still
there.
overdriving it slightly.
Yeah, it looks like Ian Janik and I believe Alan Bledsoe may have gotten turned around earlier in those laps. So still some of these guys getting spun around a little bit, but as you can see, what you don't want to do is keep messing up at this point. I mean, Ballard and Emerson are already one lap down. Edward Marshall's 11 seconds off the lead, and he's really got to keep churning before Riley Hoots catches up to him. As Brandon Fetterplace there, looks like the 4 got turned around. Edward Marshall again. Looks like he got spun around. I don't know if they'll black flag him for kind of going backwards on the track to go back down pit road, but we'll kind of take a little peek here at the 4 car and see what happened here.
Good news is we've made it 11 laps.
Oh boy, yep, and just got spun around right there. That's interesting.
Just
that one threw a caution out right there, and I think what happened is him turning right there and going back into pit. That threw the caution out. I mean, we saw Emerson get turned around, and I believe Bledsoe and Janik got turned around, and no caution came out for them. So really, kind of weird how it's set up, I guess. But that is a great time to bring up some of our sponsors here. Is really for situations like this. I got to say it. We're going back to Admin Box, and this is one of those deals that you're able to plug and play. And right now, you see when the caution comes out and when it doesn't. I believe Isaac may be one of the admins here, so he definitely gets to see a lot of this firsthand. And if you don't have race control, things like that, you are racing. You can still be race control. So it doesn't take your fun out of the race. You can still go out there and participate, which is really awesome. W energy drinks, man, really, like I said before, no jitters. Being able to get get a little bit of this, take a scoop, put in some water, rock and roll, and really enjoy it. It's almost like a pre-workout, it seems like. And Captain Jack's Smokehouse, man, I just right now, I think some of those drivers out there are having a little bit of what's in the top right of that picture. So they just got to calm down a little bit and get this thing back under control. But Captain Jack's Smokehouse, check them out on Facebook, and and really be able, get a great meal if you ask me. But this Kynan is really turning out to be an interesting race. I mean, these guys are still. I mean, heck, we made 10, 11 laps. We did have 3 incidents that we caught on screen so far. And I think the third one was the final straw, and they're going to clump them back together again. If you're in Riley Hoots' shoes, what is your strategy at this point?
Just keep doing what you're doing. You've kept it clean, been able to dominate the feature and the heat race, so just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, speaking of doing what he's doing, Jeremy Richmond staying there in the 3rd position, kind of working his way around, kind of gave Alan Bledsoe a good cutoff. Oh, as he dives that thing there in there real hard there on the inside and takes Brandon Fetterplace's spot. So 2nd position now belongs to Jeremy Richmond. Wow, what a move that was. Very gutsy. Very gutsy to go ahead and take that. But now, will Alan Bledsoe, seeing that worked for him, will he try to make that attempt and see if he can get slid around here? As Brandon Fetterplace sitting there in the 3rd position, looking at the backside of Jeremy Richmond's bumper.
Bledsoe looks like he's just trying to take it easy, watching the 98 just overcook the turn as he loses a position because of overcooking it and then being slow on corner exits. So hasn't worked out for the 98, just overdriving as he's still doing it. Probably needs to just dial it back a couple of percentage.
Man, but yeah, speaking of having to dial it back, it looks like Ian Janik there. I've seen him getting loose the past couple of turns there, and that one just seemed to let go on him. He got around the turn, he was doing okay, but it's almost, when you get racing out here and you start feeling it get weird on you, you just got to kind of calm down. But this actually was not his fault. As we're going to take it back here to a 10-4 replay. What brought out the caution? As we are here looking at the 50 car, I believe we may need to take a quick little look here at maybe the 4 right there of Edward Marshall. Boy, turns him around. So Edward Marshall not making any friends out here right now. Doing some moves like that, he's got to be careful. Some of these guys, they've been out here before, they've raced with each other, but you're going to get a fender too if you keep that up. So. But once again, still a learning curve there for Edward Marshall. This doesn't handle like those open wheel toured modifieds. I mean, you have a lot more car, a lot more rubber, and a lot more weight. I mean, it's so much different. He's got to take it easy. He can't throw these cars in the turns like we've seen him on Sunday and Tuesday nights.
That being said, if this was a tour modified race here, he probably expected to be able to hit the same way as you would be able to in those. Just being able to use the bumper a little bit more and the car was staying stable. But with these being a bit more unstable as they have and have been shown to be in this race, it just looped around on the 50.
Yeah, really a bummer there, and I'm sure they're looking at each other through the windows and giving them the one-hand salute. So they may have to take it easy, but man, really, Edward Marshall, the only driver on the field so far that is a lap down. We'll kind of keep an eye out there and see if he gets the lucky dog and push back around and get him back on the lead lap, because that's not what you want to see is a lapped car really spinning around a lead car. That just you're doing so well and then just get caught up in a little bit of trouble there. But man, really his car is stacking up. I mean, we're lap 23, so we're almost a quarter of the way. This feels a lot better in the first stage, kind of. And I don't know about you, but this feels a lot better in the first stage.
Probably helps that they were able to get a bit of a green flag run as we're about to come get the green flag again.
Yeah, it looks like Riley Hoots gets another great jump there. So Jeremy Richmond may have to wait for these tires to tack up a little bit and see if he can make that same move he did before on Brandon in that 20 machine. So, man, really what a battle there. As you can see, Jeremy Richmond working that inside. We had him in the booth here earlier, and we may have to talk to him again and see if he's learning anything, being able to keep this thing under control. But, that aggressive dive he had last time really changed, what I thought some of these drivers were going to consider is how he did that. The way,
Commentator's curse.
I said it. Oh, man, I done it. I done it that time. Oh, boy.
Might need to get him up just to apologize, even.
Yeah, that was not good. That was not
Seems
good.
like he had dialed it back a little bit. Was able to get the car to sit nicer and not overshoot the turn, but just got too antsy on the throttle on corner eggs and it just went around.
All right, Jeremy Richmond, you got a copy?
I sure do, buddy.
Good Lord. I would probably say I gave commentators curse. We had a good view on you there. We saw that aggressive move you made on Brandon Fetterplace there, being able to slide toward the inside and actually took the place, and it seemed you kind of lost it after. I think you may have kind of was thinking maybe you overheated the tires a little bit, but are you learning anything out there at this point, seeing we're past the quarter mark?
I mean, I'm learning what not to do, but I mean, I wasn't even trying to pass the 20 at that point. I was just trying to ease on the brakes, and they just lock up. I'm trying to mess with my brake bias, and nothing's working. So, and when I spun right there, I don't even know I was slow in the corner. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it did look like slow in the corner, but on the exit, it just looked like those tires just started spinning and kind of took off from you. I figure this is probably the first. Go ahead.
I think I was a little too low on exit. I think that's pretty much what it was. And then once it started going around, I couldn't catch it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of you guys are starting to finally figure out, what a set of warm tires feels like on the track. Seeing how the first stage went. But, man, we'll keep an eye on you, bud.
It's a blast out. Yeah, it's a blast out here, but, I mean, it's definitely tough. It's one of the toughest tracks I've raced on iRacing for sure.
Man. All right, man. Well, try to take it easy and don't damage that car too much. Your front end's folded in there a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't a commentator's curse, I promise you. I just lost some talent there.
All right, man. Now take it easy. We're about to go on the green. Yeah, and Jeremy Richmond, he just seems to be, he's always a good sport out there. Yeah, he does get frustrated in some instances, but man, it's just it's just a handful. And seeing the tires warm up and things like that, and really, like you said, messing with the brake bias. But we are back on the green flag. Riley Hoots going ahead and placing it there. But man, we're gonna take a little look here at Isaac Emerson working his way up to the 4th position. So great job there as you see the 50 car of Ian. Oh boy. Was that Ballard. Oh, as the 50's turned around. No. No.
That was a very strange place to lose it.
Man. Yeah, we're going to kind of roll that one back and see if we can
Only
see.
thing that I can think was, because of the straights not being perfectly straight, how they're still slightly turned is, it just unloaded that rear right and then it just went around. That's all I can really guess that really happened there, looking at how the car behaved.
Yeah, as we're right here. Let's see if we can... Oh! Okay. Yeah, it looks like he might have just came up off the throttle a little bit. I'll see if we can roll that back just a little more and see if we can figure out if something weird happened. Alright, and as long as that Michelin chopper view stays where he's supposed to be, gets on the inside, boink, a little bit of the 92, gets going. Oh! It almost looked like he tried to turn the wheel and then the rear, the rear tires just said no thank you.
Looking at his in-car and listening to the audio, it almost sounds like he downshifted. He didn't have that go in third gear that he expected on corner exit, and it sounds like he just downshifted slightly, and then with that, it just got wheel spin and then it looped it.
That was a great idea. Let's try to take a look here. Oh.
It's definitely a click on the sequential.
Yeah, and I believe he's in second gear for that one. Oof. Yeah, definitely not what you want to see there. I mean, that's him kind of banging his car up. I mean, we've kind of seen him going around a couple of times here tonight. So really kind of a bummer here for Ian in that 50 car. I mean, it's just, man. And right as I was getting ready to say something, he was, the entire field was back on the lead lap, but Ian in the 50 car, that Milwaukee machine, he's gonna be unfortunately down a lap at this point, but he's still got a lot to go. We're at 37 out of 100, and really, what a blast this is gonna be, trying to push and get this thing to the end. But uncontested so far is Riley Hoots. I mean, he's got to be liking that front position, staying up front, staying out of trouble, and being able to keep this thing under control.
Gonna be enjoying just having this clean air, but something that he's gonna be thinking about is how the 20 was able to hold with him on that initial restart this time.
Alright, Riley Hoots back on the green flag, so we'll kind of take an eye and watch Edward Marshall back here, as it looks like he's getting a good push, trying to push Robert Ballard Jr. around. Oh, as the 32 locks him up and turns and turns Isaac Emerson around. No caution.
As there is a change for the lead, the 20 was just able to get on the brakes a little bit later on that initial restart, and was able to carry that momentum around the entire corner.
Wow, and 24 must have gotten out of sorts there, as it looks like we see him sliding around, so I don't know if maybe there's some oil on the track, but he's having a heck of a time. We see him marching back there again, as the 42 is now around. Of Bledsoe.
Too low on exit. It's able to keep from damaging the car further.
Man. Now, at this point, seeing you're at 43, do you come in, put tires on the car, and maybe fix some of this damage at this point? Because you don't want to... The more cosmetic damage, the more it's going to start becoming mechanical damage. I mean, do you come down and start trying to hammer this thing out and get it squared away?
With how small the track is, you're not really going to get any damage fixed, so you may as well just stay out and keep track position. But if you're in 7th, you may as well come in, maybe gamble with right tires only. I know it's a risk, but especially with the car being as loose as it is, and randomly loose, but I mean, what else have you really got to try besides just trying to keep the car in one piece in the end and hope the cars in front of you have mistakes?
Right. Speaking of mistakes, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it like that. But we're going to take a look at somebody here who we've seen here before and see what exactly in the world is going on, and see if we can actually get one of our guys up here. Let's see if it'll let me. No, I was looking to see if I could get Edward Marshall up here, but he seems to be kind of in an area he doesn't want to be talked to. So he may be just trying to stay in the zone there and kind of kind of get everything going along there. Calm down, see if he can work on what he's, what to change here.
And he's currently sitting in the 3rd position, so he's in a good position to be able to look up the inside.
Yep. But we're going to go ahead and go to Riley Hoots here. I've got him up in the booth real quick. Riley, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Man, what in the world happened? You've been leading this whole race, and we see you get a little out of shape. Is the track changing up on you a little bit?
Nah, I think this is the first time we're getting any experience with some hot, or rather heat-cycled tires with the amount of laps that we've run. I just was struggling for grip with the rear tires there, but I think we've got something for them now.
Okay. How you feeling about these next-gen cars?
I am a big fan of the way that they drive. I feel like it supports my driving style a lot, so I'm looking forward to the season driving these things.
Okay. Well, we'll see you there. As it looks like you're going to be on the outside lane. Lights are off, so I'll let you get to it.
All right, thanks. Enjoy, guys.
Yes, it looks like, boy, he's almost calling it, saying, I got it this time. But Edward Marshall really been sitting there in the back, hanging out in the 3rd position, working his way up. Oh no, what have I done? What have I done? As Riley Hoots has bit that deal, and I think if we go that 10-4 right front suspension, we may have something broken. Yeah, he may be done.
Oh yeah, that's not steering at all.
Yeah,
He's
that
trying
is
to just give Charles position right now, just trying to keep out of the way, but real unfortunate to lead as many laps as he did in his dominant fashion.
Oh
Just
no.
Real unfortunate.
Oh no, I have done it now.
It's almost like he's trying to just hold out for a caution, but it's not a lot you can really do in this situation now.
Yeah, and really kind of being able to drive it around. And when you drive on damage like that, does it end up increasing your time that you're going to be in pit?
Well, it really depends. I had an IndyCar race that I did in officials one time. The car felt fine-ish, but someone had hit my rear end, which damaged the rear wing. Went into the turn, thought it was fine. The car didn't grip. Then it hit the wall. Managed to keep the front wheel on, so I thought it was fine, but when I then tried to make it back to the pits under caution, it just went around again and it went into the wall hard, and then that broke the suspension.
Man.
Luckily, the 24 was able to take a fast repair, which the series does have, so... But still, that's going to be disheartening to be in the lead for so long when suddenly you're in the back and now a lap down.
Yeah, and seeing that we're back under, on the caution and everything, I believe what brought out the caution is it looked like Isaac Emerson here kind of is rocking around there behind Ballard in the 32 car. And it just, man, let's see if we can take a look and see what happened here. As it get going, turned, stays out, no contact, just got no grip, and turned him around. Oh,
Very easy to do, as we've seen.
yeah, he gets a little damage for kind of backing up there and clipping that wall. So I'm wondering if cautions are also dependent on if a driver has to put his vehicle in reverse. I'm starting to notice that as, everything seems A-okay and hunky-dory until these drivers put in reverse and, they kind of throw the caution flag. So it might be something for one of these other guys out there. As Riley Hoots, it looks like he might be salvageable.
I mean, luckily that caution came out when it did, so he wasn't given a disqualification for ignoring the meatball flag, but still, it's not going to be nice to be in the back after seeing only clean air for the entire race.
Yeah, and really, just what can they do, at this point? We have made it over halfway. I think he's got about 44 laps to go to put this away, and he's got 7 more drivers in front of him. He's had Isaac, I know the 50 car, he's had a little bit of trouble here tonight. Jeremy Richmond, he's kind of maintaining, but he's in the 4th position. It's just really, you got a couple of guys that, a little loose, little tight, little loose, and it's difficult to see what they can and can't get done here. As Edward Marshall is actually up in the front line here. So, crazy turn of events is really, he's getting spun around, things like that is, looks like they're starting to pile up. Oh boy, Jeremy Richmond didn't appreciate him brake checking him like that.
Able to keep it green for now, though. 24 looking to make his way through the field, giving the 32 the bumper ever so slightly.
Oh, boy, but he returns the favor right there. Oh boy, as the 32 kind of bites that wall. They are having a heck of a time getting this thing turned around. And that's what I was wondering, is if just more and more of this cosmetic damage is just going to cause some problems later on down the line. We'll rotate back up here to one of our favorites, Jeremy Richmond. They're in the 3rd position, so you see he's kind of broken away. He's kind of staying out of trouble now. Now all he's got to do is just worry about hitting his marks and getting his way around. But, Alan Bledsoe, another person we've been looking at, he's had some trouble getting some traction and working his way around. But Riley Hoots is, he may want to try to get up front, but the poor guy's already a lap down. So you've got to think, if one more, right there. If that caution comes out, that should put him, Lucky Dog, back on the lead lap. But it looks like Jeremy Richmond, man, just the frustration at this point.
Oh, comes back down into the leader's path.
Man, yeah, we're going to head to that 10-4 replay here and see what in the world just happened. Whoop. A little loose there. Recollects it. Oh boy, and just bit way too much apron there.
20 doesn't seem to have any damage, so he seems to be all good after that.
Dang, yeah, and if anybody, 32's got to be smacking his spotter around. Jeremy Richmond was stopped there, and that kind of didn't work out too well for him. But man, it's just, you got to be thinking, if you're in the lead, I mean, that almost showed right there, you aren't even safe up there. You see as they kind of crept up on him when he was sitting there on the track. So I'm just wondering if there's not enough time. I mean, even if you were, at 14 seconds, that's 7 seconds aside. I mean, just there's a lot going on. As I believe, yes, Hoots right there is going to go ahead and get the Lucky Dog, get back on the lead lap, and that should line him back in the 7th position. Jeremy Richmond is still in pit. I don't know if he's broken or what happened here.
Well, he should have a fast repair if he is broken, so maybe he got a stop-go penalty or some form of penalty just for entering a closed pit. Either way, it's not what he wanted. It could also be that he doesn't have his fast repair checked and is just taking it manually, expecting another couple of cautions to give him his lead lap back.
Man, it's just really kind of a bummer here. But yeah, he's 4 laps down now, and coming here with only 34 to go, that's going to be a tall hill to climb. He would have to remain unscathed and 4 cautions to get back on the lead lap. He would almost need a caution every 5th or 6th lap to get back on the front and then work his way back to the top 3 for a respectable position. But really, he's got his not where he wants to be. And something to keep in mind, Jeremy Richmond has the fastest laps on the track. He ran a 13.7. So, he was almost a tenth of a second faster than most of these other drivers here. But as you can see, that's not paying off for him as we're back under green. As it looks like in the 20 car, Brandon Fetter place with Edward Marshall behind him. Oof. Yeah, as we got some of these guys that just having trouble hooking, getting around here. That 32 car, he's just getting banged up and beaten up. I was going to say, we're back under caution. Do you see what caused that one?
Bledsoe just getting into the back of the 50 in the mid corner on turn 1 and 2.
Okay, well, we'll see if we can...
didn't want to pull back out onto track, so he just kept it down low, and then a caution had to be thrown at that point then.
Yep. All right, and let's go ahead and see what in the world happened here, because this is right at the restart. Here's the 42. Boink.
Just seems like the 50 didn't have any acceleration on that restart.
But Alan Bledsoe did pit, I believe. I believe he pit on lap 65. Yeah, I believe he pit on lap 65, so he is on fresh tires if that's what you decide to take. Ian in that 50 car has not pit yet all race, so I don't think fuel is going to be an option, seeing how small this track is. But, is tires going to be a problem? If you've been sliding in and out of these turns all race, this is just going to be a handful. I mean, I believe Brandon Fetterplace, Robert Ballard Jr., Isaac Emerson, and Ian here in the 50 car are the only ones who have yet to pit. Edward Marshall pit on 10, Riley Hoots on 52, Bledsoe 65, and Jeremy Richmond lap 63, but he's still 3 laps down. So really, he's got kind of a bummer there, as he said earlier, running out of talent. I just don't know if running out of talent, or these guys just having a heck of a time getting this thing to kind of wrangle back in and figure out what to do to stay up where you need to be.
Wouldn't really think that tires would be too much of an issue here. We've had multiple cautions, so we've had that brake just to keep them in a better working window, and just because of the track being lower speed than, say, Martinsville or Richmond, the tire wear will be lower from that.
Okay, I wasn't sure with the tires sliding and thing like that, and like you say, he's having to drag the brakes on the way through, so I know in some instances that'll also cause a whole lot of tire wear as well. But we are about 3/4 of the way through this race, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here at 10-4 Broadcasting. Brandon Fetterplace and Edward Marshall in your front row, getting ready to get back on the green flag, and there we go. As Fetterplace goes ahead and takes a great move toward the inside. Edward Marshall gets a little bumper deal there from Robert Ballard. Boy, really, he's having a heck of a time holding that car. Look out. Wow, as Edward Marshall gets turned around as well, maybe trying to avoid it or trying to stay away, getting under acceleration. But, man, these guys are just having a heck of a time. But we are going to slide to commercial real quick, and we will be right back. Alrighty, we are back. Unfortunately, back under caution. Lap 78 out of 100. But we're going to see one more time if I can grab a hold of him and see if we can get him. Edward Marshall, do you have a copy? Maybe.
Do what?
There he is, Edward Marshall. You got a copy on us, bud?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Alrighty, this is 10-4 Broadcasting up here, bud. And I've seen you before in the East Coast Modifieds on Sunday and VRA on Tuesdays. What? You haven't? How is this different from those open-wheeled modified cars you're used to running compared to the next gens you're running tonight?
It's just a big grip difference. These tires, to me, it seems like they get hot really quick, and then they start getting greasy, and you just don't have that so much with the modifieds. They're a lot wider tires. That grip lasts a lot longer. And if you're not careful, if you're ever driving your car with these things, the brake calipers will start glowing on you, and the tires just go away. And I think that's the problem with a lot of us right now is we're pushing the cars probably a little bit beyond their limits, and it's just cooking them off the turn.
Man, yeah, and really, you just kind of see it's just what a difficult race for some of these guys out here. I know, you kind of got in a little bit of a scuffle there earlier, but then, you ended up a lap down. Man, back in the front row, not but last lap. I do believe we saw the 50 car, the 32 car spin out, and then you did right after that down the front stretch. Is it just loosening up on you guys when you're getting under acceleration?
Yeah, and then you're getting a little understeer because the rack or opinion on this car is so slow in response to where you want to be at.
Man. All right, bud. Well, we'll let you get back to it as you're back on the green flag there, bud. And that was Edward Marshall there in that 4 car. As you can see, he gives a little bumper music there to the 92 car, and look out as the 42 goes ahead and clips him. Man, Alan Bledsoe really having a heck of a time there tonight. I know Team Steel 87 has got their eyeballs on them right now, kind of threatening the contract problems, but no fear. This is a tough track to really get around here, as it looks like, unfortunately, Riley Hoots back around. So, man, really a bummer here, as we're going to give him a quick look and see what happened to Riley here. Oh, man, just overdrove the car. Yep, right there. Unfortunate.
Very easy mistake to do.
Yeah, really, and it's just... You see, it's just so common. You just see it happening so much right now of these guys just trying to get these things to hook. And, you know, I know Riley Hoots. He's pushing hard. He's trying to get his way up front. But really, it's interesting to see some of these guys now pitting. You know, Riley Hoots, and it looks like Bledsoe is in pit. One more time, what were we saying, kind of?
They entered on the wrong side of the pit.
Oh, no.
Not going to do well for them.
No, that is not good. We'll see how it goes. It looks like Riley is, both sides up, so he may be trying for a 4-tire dash here and see if he can get back out there. Fortunately, there are unlimited tires here tonight, so, you know, Riley Hoots is not a lap down. Jeremy Richmond has worked his way back up, so he's only 2 laps down now, so a couple more cautions and he'll be back, so really something, but somebody who has been getting bumped and banged around, Isaac Emerson here. I mean, his car is folded up. He's got a couple crooked panels, the rear bumper, the front bumper, the right side of his car, and here he is in second place. So, I guess, you know, you put your head down, you keep trying. You see Edward Marshall, he was there in the back after that one spin out, and he's now in third place. It's just really, you kind of, I mean, I know there are only 8 drivers here, but it's still a good shuffle. These guys, you know, moving and bouncing around and everything, just kind of, it's nice seeing guys aren't getting frustrated at this point. Some guys you'll see will just, you know what, let's just park the car. Don't worry about the damage. Don't waste my time. These guys are still out here giving this a shot. And I'm wondering, you know, I think 10 points, you know, for the 10 bonus points are, you know, really what you're looking for here to get you that speed up or that sling into the regular season, especially going into Daytona. Or if, you know, wins bring more wins. You know, you get a win here, Daytona on July 1st will look even better, being able to give that one a run. So, I don't know about you, Kynan, but, you know, I'm ready to see this one kind of wrap up here. I believe we've got 13 laps to go, and these guys are, I'd like to see it green all the way to the end.
It would be nice, but something tells me we're not going to quite get that.
Yeah, it looks like Brendan Fetterplace goes ahead and makes a good shot there toward the... on the restart there. It looks like Riley Hoots may be trying to get a little loose there, but he's trying to figure out how to negotiate getting around the 50 car. Bumps Bledsoe there. Oh, Isaac Emerson, unfortunately, said a little word about him. He got turned around. So really, the only person I see this helping so far is Jeremy Richmond. When you go 4 laps down, and this should give him the lucky dog again and put him only 1 lap down. So really, it's just starting to become... I wouldn't say, you know...
50 has missed pit entry.
Oh, man. It's just a string of bad luck for that guy here tonight. As we're going to go ahead and give a quick little look here at the 92 car, see what happened. He got going, 42, good dive. Oh, man. Yeah, and we saw that before, I think, actually earlier in the race. He's just having problems getting that thing to really hook. And I'm wondering if under acceleration, you know, it may be best to wait until the car straightens up instead of accelerating while you're turning. And I think that may be some of what these guys are feeling is they get ready to go, they're aiming, they kind of dive it in deep, and then all of a sudden those rear tires are just kicking out from under them. They got to get their weight planted almost evenly on these rear tires. But I know that's not a way to be fast. It just seems like it's missing something. You know, almost like a locker in the rear end. It's just not planting the power to the right tire.
Well, the 50 was definitely missing something in his front suspension as he was only just able to get into pit road, but gonna take his fast repair, it seems like, so he should be back out on track and will probably only lose a lap from it.
Oof. Man, really? What? Yeah, I mean, we got 7 to go here, and yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes. Stellar Stella out there saying the word I was looking for was repetitive. I hate to say that, you know, with it being, you know, saying something's repetitive. I prefer repetitive in a good sense, you know, repetitive wins, you know, good turns. Right now, we're just in a slew of just bad cautions here, unfortunately, and it's not, you know, not any one person's fault. You know, I think Brandon Fetterplace, I think if I'm not mistaken, he's the only one I've never seen get turned around, if my memory serves me right.
He's the only one to keep his car clean this entire race.
Yeah, really, he's having a... Yeah, really, it's something here, and I know Stellar Stella out there. You, I wouldn't call this a painful race. This is the feel out process. We've done this before in multiple other leagues, and you do. It does kind of weird. It's constantly doing the same thing over and over again, and then I have to keep an eye on Edward Marshall there. I don't know if that's gonna be a black flag for that one. I know he let the leader pass before, but he did leave that restart zone early, so we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully, Edward Marshall was able to check up just in time. But well, we'll keep an eye on that with the with race control. But yeah, man, looks like Fetter Place doing real well. Bledsoe kind of out to the outside, clips that wall again. So really, oh boy, is the 92. You see slides those front tires, getting his way back in. Jeremy Richmond still lapped down, 3 to go. So really, this is, oh no, as Riley Hoots is around. No, Riley Hoots was doing so well.
To avoid him.
He was doing so well, and you know he's frustrated at this point, so you can see him kind of spinning around. What a heartache.
Edward Marshall also involved later in the lap. Damaged steering. It's going to be the end of his race.
Oh, no. All right, we'll kind of take a peek here at what happened to Riley Hoots and see what they can do there, and then we'll cut over to the 4 car and see what happened to him. So let's just see if it's just... See, and these guys you see hitting that apron right there are just not really appreciating that. And right here... Oh, did you see that?
To watch.
Just way too early in that turn.
It's almost like he locked the rear axle and then that just sent him towards the wall, and it was just concrete to car, and we all know how that goes.
Yeah, I'm going to see if we can get a closer look here. What in the world happened to Edward Marshall? He was doing really well. And then all of a sudden...
like he grabbed the brake and it just snapped.
Let's see if we can take a look at them tires. Oh boy, his angle's all wrong. Man. Yeah, you just see his angle toward that turn is just over. And yeah, I think he tried to drift it like an open-wheeled car. And it just, yeah, it took a hold of him instead. So I do not know if if we're going to have a checkered caution here. I may extend this race to go ahead and make sure we finish this thing under green. But really, what a blast this has been. I know this will be painful, but we are looking at the Darlington race there again, and really, I'm looking forward to that one as well after this one's done. You know, being able to get that Daytona on July 1st, 130 laps, 4 sets of tires. So they will have to go ahead and get with their crew chiefs and things like that to make sure they get this squared away. And then after that, July 8th, New Hampshire, 195 laps at that one. So that one will be a handful as well. So really a tough schedule for a lot of these drivers here, being able to get this this thing underway. But we are 1 lap till green flag. We'll give a quick little shout out to Captain Jack's Smokehouse. The race is almost over. Make sure you get your barbecue. I'm hungry as well. I don't know about you guys. I've been on here for a good bit, and I'm starving. But the only thing keeping me awake tonight, of course, would be W, the energy drink. Man, you know, it just doesn't get any better than these guys and Admin Box. Really what Race Control's feeling all night here tonight, as we're going to throw them up real quick as we are under green flag. These guys trying their best to stay in one piece. But man, really what a blast this has been. And we are coming down to the wires. It looks like the 42 car of Alan Bledsoe turned around and takes the rest of the field with him.
There's a big crash.
Holy cow. Yeah, I think he might pay for that one. We're going to actually head to the chopper view on this one. That way we can kind of see how everything unfolded here and see if it was just one car or if something happened, you know, that caused more than just what we see here.
When he seems to just be giving Edward Marshall just some space under pacing for him to get turned around.
All right, we are at that 10-4 replay. So let's take a peek here. It looks like the 92. Ooh. And the 42 right there. 24. Hoots unfortunately gets into him. Edward Marshall gets into him. Run, Jeremy. Oh, he gets clipped. Oh, no. So about 5 cars here. 4 or 5 cars got tangled up. So fortunately for Jeremy Richmond, this actually puts him back on the lead lap. But we'll have to kind of take a peek here and assess his damage. We are now extending the race again. to see how long they can kind of keep this going here.
Jeremy Richmond is very lucky that that hit on his rear right did not break the driving ability in it. I've seen it in the past where you just hit that rear wrong and it can just destroy the car. So very lucky to not suffer that fate that the 32 did earlier on in the race.
Man, yeah. There's one thing I like, man. I'm really liking Jeremy Richmond's his paint scheme here. That thing is looking sharp. I like that. Kind of that metal finish he's got there. Looking pretty slick.
Certainly sticks out compared to all these other cars.
Yeah. I know. I believe the 32 of Robert Ballard. He's kind of thinking the same thing there. You know, kind of having that stars and stripes going on. But I know Jeremy Richmond's feeling it over there for the NSRA League, the Xfinity Series he runs for the Beer Street Journal. They're running some stars and stripes there for the July races they have coming up, and he may just be exposing this one a little early. So, Kynan, I hope we're able to finish this one coming up here pretty soon. I know I know it's been painful, but I think we got about 2 laps to go. If they can get around one time, and then or 2 more times here, get that white flag out, and then we're doing a good spot. But Riley Hoots in 4th. Jeremy Richmond coming back from 4 laps down is now in the 3rd position. Really a battle here to the end as he's going to go ahead and send that thing on the inside. Let Isaac Emerson know he's there as there are 3 wide heading down the back.
Inside.
Holy cow, as I believe the white flag is out, so the race is to right here. Jeremy Richmond letting him know, no, as he gets turned around, absolutely destroying his car. As we are 15 seconds left to go. Oh no. What in the world? And I believe I'm trying to figure out who placed 3rd in that one. Oh, it's the Alan Bledsoe lets Jeremy Richmond know what he thinks about that one.
I'm struggling to figure out what just happened.
All right, let's see what we got here. We're taking a look at Alan Bledsoe here. Let's see if we can hop in that Michelin chopper view. Jeremy Richmond sends it to the inside on Isaac. These guys seem to be doing okay. Riley Hoots right there. Spins out. Bledsoe clips him. Oh, man. Man.
It was going to be a chaotic finish, but I did not expect that much chaos.
Wow, really a heartbreaker for some of those, just kind of figuring out what in the world to do here. It's kind of figuring out what in the world happened. I know these guys got bumped and banged around, but I'm not sure. It says, I believe, are you having Alan Bledsoe in the 3rd position?
I am indeed.
Okay. So let's see if we can get Alan up here. As we are sitting there and see if we can kind of take it easy here a little bit and see if we can wrangle him in here. Let's see if we can wrangle him in here. And there we are. Alan Bledsoe, do you got a copy? Oh boy. Come on. Alan Bledsoe in the 42. You got a copy?
Oh, I hear you now.
There we go. All right, Alan. Hey, man. It says you placed 3rd there. What kind of a wild run was that toward the end?
I don't even know how I finished 3rd. Considering Riley and I just like destroyed each other on the last lap. All I know is that I got it turned around, and then I saw the 98 spun around on the backstretch, and I passed him and crossed the line, and it said 3rd, and I was like very confused. So here I am.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say we were just as confused as you are. We we were kind of taking a peek and seeing what in the world happened. Because you came third, Isaac Emerson came second, and Brandon Fetterplace came in the first position. So really, I mean, we kind of saw you getting out of sorts here tonight, clipping the wall a couple times. You got spun around a couple times. I know people got into you, you got into them. I mean, really, what was the key to getting out front? I mean, you're gonna tell me just luck, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, 95% of it was luck. The rest of it was everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't really know exactly what to say about that. It was just it was a wild one. I mean, all the way through. The heat race was the longest green flag run we had in that one was 4 laps. So I don't know. The feature started out great with the 10-lap run at the start, but I don't know. It all went kind of crazy. But no, there at the end, there were just a couple times that I just sent it a little bit too deep. Missed my braking point, got hyper focused on the car in front of me, and then all of a sudden I was into their rear end. So it was just mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes, and I think everybody else did except maybe Brandon. I know Riley, my teammate, he made a couple mistakes that honestly cost him even the top 3. And he should have won. He really should have won. But there at the end, those last couple restarts, I like I told my teammates, I biffed it. And I just kind of sent it a little bit too deep. And then when I was getting on the gas trying to make up for it, it just spun around. And I don't know. This whole race, that's not how I race. And I felt really bad for taking a few of those guys out. But it is what it is. It's such a small, tight track that mistakes are multiplied by 10. And you end up finding yourself against another car, and all of a sudden you're having to apologize for a wreck. So yeah, I have to apologize to a lot of drivers. The 20 first off, and then the 50 a couple times. I think I dumped the 98 once. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still preseason. It's still a small track and everything else. But we are looking at the beginning of the regular season. We're going to be at Daytona. I mean, 130 some odd laps there. I mean, you got to be feeling better about that one. Back to the super speedways. How are you feeling about that coming up, getting into the season 3 with the high octane series?
Well, I actually really I hate super speedway racing. The Daytona and Talladega have I just don't like it. Too tense. But here lately, I've been running pretty good on them. So because of my teammates, a lot of it has been my teammates. They've helped a lot. But I don't know. I have no idea what to expect out of Daytona. The money race, I finished dead last in because I forgot to check my fast repair on my second crash, and yeah, I ended up with 14 laps of required, or 14 minutes. And I don't know. I think my team, KPM as a whole, will have a really good shot at it. We'll see what happens. Daytona has never really been too kind to me. It's always been Talladega that I've always gotten the good runs, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, hey, man, it's still a lot of series left to go. This is the original feel-out process, but everybody's got to learn, right? Being able to get these things together and really being able to put cars this size on a quarter-mile track is another one to really test y'all's driving skill. And I didn't see a soul out there, other than the 20 car Fetter place there, really unscathed. Everybody else kind of bumped and banged around there till the end. So really, it really was a handful. And you talk about your teammates. Or how about some of those sponsors you have for this upcoming season? Go ahead and give me some of those shout outs.
Yeah. So my primary is American Tire Distributors. They let me put their name on the car, and I'm really happy for that. Obviously, I work for them. I work for ATD, so it's in my best interest to say, hey, go get your tires at go to tirebuyer.com and get your tires. Get them while they're cheap. The economy is not looking good right now, but yeah, it's these new cars. The next gen cars is they're really tough, and I'm just like trying to learn the track. I'm trying to learn the car as well, and it's gonna be an adventure. I think this first season with this new car is gonna be a real handful, but we'll get through it, and maybe we'll have a real good shot at the end. And if not, hey, there's always season 4.
Yeah. Well, it's still a lot of races. I mean, I think you guys got 12 races or so, and that's not even including the All-Star race. So you'll still have a good chance to get your way up there. Oh, is it 15?
I think it's 15.
All right, I was going to say, I was checking the chat there, and Riley Hoots has a few things to say about ATD, but we'll leave it at that. But, he says because you wrecked him, he's going to have to think twice where you got your tires from. But, regardless, but great race tonight, and we hope to see you next week.
That's my teammate for you right there.
Yep.
He's always talking crap.
Brotherly love.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Cool.
Hopefully next week.
Yep, we'll do. Thank you, Alan. And really, there's Alan Bledsoe. So, man, really, what a handful he is there, Kynan, is just, like you said, he's having trouble getting this thing going. I believe most of these other guys going around here, I believe our race winner, Brandon Fetterplace, is not in here in the chat, and I do not see Isaac Emerson either. So I do not think we're going to be able to get a word in edgewise with those gentlemen. So, I mean, really, what you have to you got to kind of take away from this is some of these guys, it's a feel out process. It's a new car, new tires, new damage model, things like that, and really kind of figure out what you need to do to make this happen right there toward the end.
Yeah, just when all chaos started to break loose, that's exactly what the 20 wanted to see in his mirrors. Just seeing the 98 dive up the inside, which ended up causing the 92 to then come down a little bit, which then caused the 98 to have to correct himself, which then put him in the wall, which ended up killing that rear left of his car, which then made it so he couldn't drive away. The 32 also had issues where he couldn't drive away just because of how the new damage model is, so that new damage model will change how the next gen car will be raced in the future.
Yeah, really, like we were talking about before, is just that learning curve. I mean, it was kind of just that jambalaya of what you had going on. Like I said, different track no one's used to, different damage model, different tires, different car, new drivers. I mean, it's just, and you try to mash them all together. And I would assume that Daytona next week, July 1st, is going to be that is going to be an all-out brawl. That is going to be wild to see these guys really get door-to-door over 180 miles an hour in these next-gen cars. I mean, they handle a lot better, especially speedways, but man, I do not find them friendly on these short tracks. And really, what a blast this has been here tonight. Any final thoughts there, Kynan?
Well, all I can say is should be a really good race next week for the first round of the series. The last time we went there in this series was for the money race, and we went 60 laps clean, so should be good. So if the viewers do want to see it, why not subscribe?
Absolutely, yeah. Subscribe, hit that bell, give me the thumbs up for that like button. Let me know you enjoyed the cast there tonight. Yeah, I know somebody in the chat, Nick Silver's asking where's the race winner. I do not know. I don't know if he had to get going. He won and now he's with his team or whatnot, but I'm not sure. I have no idea where he ended up. He was there for a little while and then he kind of disappeared on me, but we'll hopefully catch up with him later on or in a different broadcast, and see how he's doing. But thanks from all of us at 10-4 Broadcasting. This is the High Octane Sim Series League that was running at the LA Coliseum. Next week we'll be seeing you at Daytona for over 130 laps of races there, and we hope you join us again. Like, subscribe, find us on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, and we will see you next time.